Hey everybody, welcome back to Fourth and Beer, where the stories are real, the memories are strong, and the beer is cold, except tonight where it's not beer, it's Cayman Jack's Margarita. They are not a sponsor for me, and they don't pay me to drink it, but I sure do like it. So I told you a couple weeks ago we were going to dive into something that was near and dear to my heart, and that was world-class championship wrestling. More importantly, the Von Erich family and Von Erich wrestling and Texas wrestling. And so here we are. Tonight we're going to just kind of touch on my story, how I became a Von Erich world-class fan, and we're going to set the stage for what we're going to go through as we go forward. But I want to set the stage. So I came across this. I was by blind luck, is what it was. I was with my mom, and we'd gone to my grandma and grandpa's, or my Mima and Papa's house, and my mom and grandma were having a conversation. And I take you back to 1983. I got to believe it was 1983, because what I got to witness that night. I'm prior to this time, Wichita Falls didn't have cable. We had just gotten cable like a year or so before, and we certainly didn't have remote controls. Well, they did. He was a young man by the name of Monty. Monty, go change the channel. And so, fortunately for me, there was only 3 channels plus PBS, and my parents and grandparents didn't watch PBS very often. That was for kids at the time. It was Sesame Street and Electric Company and whatnot. So, but anyway. Back then, I don't know if you remember or not, when cable first came out, we had these boxes. They were real slim, brown, and they had sliders that you slid to change the channel. And if I remember right, it went from like 1 to 36 or something. I can't remember exactly, but so anyway, my grandpa's not there. I don't know where he's at. He may have been, I don't know where he was at. He may have been out doing something. But anyway, so little Monty, as I was affectionately called, had the opportunity to run the TV, which didn't happen often. Because remember, back in the early 80s, we didn't have TVs in bedrooms and all that stuff. So the only time I got to watch television was in the mornings when I got to stay at my grandma's house, and I got to watch Sesame Street and then Electric Company, like I said, on PBS. But other than that, it was when it was time for soap operas, Meemaw took over, and then when Papa got home, it was news, and then MASH or whatever it is he wanted to watch. So I slide through the channels like a 9-year-old kid who's doesn't. I mean, I'm just tickled to death I get to do this. I'm sliding through, and I come across this. I'm on this channel, and there's this guy standing there with this blondish brown hair, and more brown than blonde, but he has a blue robe with a white collar and a diamond-studded dove on the back, but the robe is long, it's beautiful, and he is just standing there. He looks like, back then, I likened him to a superhero or something. He was just so big and muscular, and had this look on his face like I'm fixing to go out and destroy somebody, and it was concern, it was preparation. You could just see it. It was a serious look he had on his face, and so I've never seen anything like this before. I didn't even know what professional wrestling was, so I sure had no idea that's what I was fixing to watch. But the look and the appearance of Kerry standing back there really drew me in, and so little did I know what I was fixing to watch was the World Heavyweight Championship match, the NWA Heavyweight Championship match between Ric Flair and Kerry Von Erich from Union Arena in Dallas, Texas, in a cage with Michael Hayes as the special guest referee, and David Manning was the ref. Oh, and by the way, Terry Gordy was the assigned gatekeeper. And so he was the keeper of the key, I guess, to unlock the cage to let Kerry or Rick out once the match was over. Michael Hayes had been voted in as the special guest referee because the Freebirds had just come to town a few months prior to, 2 or 3 months maybe, and they were fan favorites. David supposedly had brought them in. He had met them when he was in Florida which I knew none of this at the time. I have no idea what's going on. I know no backstory. All I know is what I'm seeing there for the first time. But they come in as fan favorites, and Michael comes in first, and he says he's got a big brother that's walking, talking, graveyard stomping. Michael Hayes. He was so good on the mic. But anyway, he had this. I mean, he presented Terry Gordy in the best way you possibly could. So when Terry got there, I mean, you see this big boy that you just know just big old brute. So anyway, I watched this match, and they're in a cage, there's blood, and this Michael Hayes and his long blonde hair, his Jordache jeans and t-shirt and tennis shoes and no shirt. He's acting a fool in the ring. He's pushing around the referee. He's pushing around Ric Flair. All of a sudden, he knocks out Ric Flair and tells Kerry to go pin him, get on him, and Kerry being the ever good guy, the Christian family guy. He's, no, that's not the way we do it. We're going to do it the right way. I'm going to beat him my way. Anyway, Michael Hayes gets mad, tries to jump out the gate. At the time when he's trying to jump out of the gate, to leave the ring, finally, I'm just done with you guys. I don't want nothing to do with it. Ric Flair hits Kerry from behind. Kerry hits Michael Hayes and knocks him out of the ring. And all Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes see is Kerry Von Erich standing there with his head sticking out. And that's when the slam heard around the world happens. Terry Gordy takes the gate, slams it on Kerry's head, and concusses him. Gives Kerry a concussion. And while Kerry, the hero, he stands up, he fights, and at the end of the day, he just can't carry on. And so Ric Flair ends up winning the match. Little did I know that we are starting the beginning of what we thought was World War III. The Von Erich Freebird feud was born, and it was the greatest thing to a 9-year-old kid that I'd ever seen. And it didn't take me that long to pick a side. And my baptism into world class and the Von Erich wrestling it was there. It happened. That was the night it happened. And so, before I dive in though, and we go any further, I want to say this, and I prepared this, so I'm going to read it so that way, because I wanted to make sure that everybody that watches this we're on the same page. I want to say this: in no way is this series meant to be disrespectful or dishonor world-class championship wrestling, its performers or characters, or any member of the Von Erich family. Great care has been taken to tell these stories with great accuracy, respect, and appreciation for the memories that they created. I never got to go to the Sportatorium, but every Saturday night on KTVT Channel 11 out of Fort Worth for Championship Sports, which was 1 hour, and then the greatest thing that ever happened to me was it went to 2 hours. And then at the Will Rogers Coliseum, and then every Sunday morning from the Sportatorium on KXTX Channel 11. This 9-year-old me felt like I was right there. I never had the opportunity to go see either one of those places. One of the great regrets of my life. Unfortunately, I was just too young. I never got an opportunity to make that decision. And so, but those moments became one of the greatest moments in parts of my childhood, and they're memories that I still carry with me today, and I love reliving those memories. And I want to give a big shout out to WWE, who purchased the library from Kevin Von Erich, and now I can go back and watch. You could probably hear it in the background. I can go back and watch those matches from 1982 to till World Class ceased to exist. But this series is my way of saying thank you to World Class, to Fritz Von Erich, and most importantly, the Von Erich family, and everyone who made those nights and those Sunday mornings so special for fans like me that it felt like I was actually there. So anybody watching this and moving forward, any segments we move forward, I want to make sure that everybody knows that there will be no disrespectful comments, statements, or implications. I will not imply anything that leads to disrespect of any of the performers, or most importantly, the Von Erich family, because have been for 45 years and will be for the rest of my life, huge fans of the Von Erich family, and have nothing but the utmost respect for Kevin Von Erich and for the life that he's lived and what he's had to go through. So I wanted to get that out there, and I will repeat this multiple times throughout the series, because just in case someone comes across it in the middle or towards the end, I want to make sure everybody understands my perspective and my stance on world-class championship wrestling and for Kevin Von Erich and the Von Erich family. So that was the greatest time of my life, getting to the opportunity to witness that match. It's the only match I remember from that series. Little did I know until later, I found out there was more matches that happened prior to, especially there was one other match for sure that had great implication on what was going to happen moving forward from that night. I had no idea. I didn't get to see that. I have now. I'm going to have the opportunity to go back and watch it as an adult, thanks to WWE and putting those matches on Peacock to where I can go back and watch them. But little did I know at the time what all had gone on and what had led up to, and especially that night with David Von Erich and the Freebirds and everything. So we will dive into that next time. I've got I've got it as episode 0, just an introduction to what we're doing. But we're going to dive into Christmas Star Wars and what happens and what goes on, and the storyline building up to it, and the repercussions of the events that happened that night in Reunion Arena. So thank you so much for tuning in. I want to say, give a heartfelt and make sure that Kevin Von Erich and any of the Von Erich family that sees this, not that I think they will, but if they were to happen to run across it, and any Von Erich fans, family friends, or fans that come across this, everything I do in this series will be with nothing but the utmost respect towards Kevin and his family, to World Class, and to the amazing production they put on, because you definitely changed the life of that 9-year-old kid, who it changed it enough that at the age of 53 is sitting up here at almost midnight and putting a video on, creating a video to put on YouTube, so that other fans like myself who had the opportunity to witness that, or maybe fans that didn't get to witness it, maybe can go back and relive some of the great memories that I have, and hundreds and thousands of people that were in the Texas area and all around the world, to be honest with you. They got to witness some of the greatest storytelling and professional wrestling that the world's ever seen. It's funny. I as a WWE fan, I watched. There's a series, and I can't remember what the name of it is, but WWE has a series now, and it goes in and tells, it basically just comes out and tells everybody, all right, this is all fake. We're telling a story. We're actors and actresses, and we're putting on a show. And after we beat the heck out of each other for 10, 15 minutes in the ring, we go backstage, we hug, we have a beer, and we're best of friends. We're putting out TikTok videos or YouTube videos or whatever the case may be. And so everybody knows it's not real. I can't take my mind from 1983 to now. So even though I know, and I promise you, in 1983, 9-year-old Monty had no idea that this was scripted and that there were pre-planned finishes. I will never, ever state that it's fake, because there's too many. You've got to be a pretty darn good athlete and be pretty strong to be able to do what they do. And you know, back then they were traveling by car, back and forth across states, and which in New Hampshire or someplace like that, it may not be a big deal. In the state of Texas, driving across the state to wrestle from one event to another may be similar to driving across 3 states and other places in the country. So big props to those guys. I mean, golly. And nowadays, these guys are on the road, 300 days a year, if not more. And now they don't have to drive in a Cutlass or a Jeep Wagoneer or anything like that. And when I say Jeep Wagoneer, I'm not talking about the new Jeep Wagoneers, it's the old ones. But, you know, you're not driving around in somebody's old stinky car with their smelly wrestling gear in the back seat. 4 people riding together, and who can imagine all the nasty smells coming out of that car. But you know, what a life they lived, and what a show they put on. And 9-year-old me thought it was as real as it could be. So thank you. If anybody sees this, thank you so much for the memories. And I'm going to do my very best to honor that memory as we move forward. So thank you for tuning in. I'd love to know. Drop it in the comments. Let me know. What do you think? When was your first interaction or induction to professional wrestling? What promotion was it with? Was it World Class? Was it well, I guess it would be Mid-South, but would it be Memphis? Would it be Florida, Georgia? Places like that. Those were hotbeds back then. What was your Portland, Hawaii? What were your big, what was your introduction to professional wrestling? Who were your heroes growing up? I mean, were you Jerry Lawler fan? Did you start before me? Were you a Fritz von Erich fan? Were you, who was your favorite growing up? Who did you idolize? Who did you grow up watching? And what was your take on professional wrestling at the time? I know, like I said, for me, it was something I had never, ever seen in my life, and it took many, many years for me to figure out it wasn't real. So, or it was scripted, I should say. I bought in hook, line, and sinker. What was it for you? How was it for you? And if you had the opportunity to witness the Von Erichs or see the Von Erichs or were fans of the Von Erichs back in that time, did you meet them? Did you get the opportunity to see them in person? Did you get the opportunity to meet them? How were they? I've never met a Von Erich. Well, I say that. That's not true. I met Kevin at the Times Record News here in Wichita Falls. Very, very short period of time. I mean, it was just like high and by. You know, I got his autograph on a photocopy of a picture, and I've got it in my scrapbook still. But it was so short, and it was really in passing. It was nothing. But have you got the opportunity to meet him? Have you got the opportunity to have a conversation with him? I will say this: one of the greatest thrills of my life. Years ago, when WWE came to Dallas, this has been, I say years ago, Twitter was already out, so it wasn't that long ago. But I had gone on Twitter and I put in there, Dallas, WWE, welcome to Dallas, home of the Von Erichs. Please be sure you respect the Von Erich tradition or respect the Von Erich family, something along those lines. And I put it out on Twitter, and I got a direct message from Kevin. Said, thank you very much for the kind words, or something along those lines. And I still have that message saved in my Twitter, or X now, but I still have that because I was so flattered. It was just, I mean, I'm a grown man, and that meant the world to me. So thank you, Kevin, for that, if ever you get the chance to see this. But anyway, let me know what you think. What's your opinions of World Class? Keep it clean, keep it nice. We're not here to disrespect anybody or talk bad about anybody that was in the promotion. I will talk bad about the Freebirds, even though I love them. Now I love the Freebirds. Knowing what I know now about how that all went down, I'm a huge Freebird fan because I understand that without the Freebirds, the Von Erichs probably wouldn't have ever taken fire like it did. So anyway, let me know what you think, what your opinions are, what your thoughts of World Class are. Where did you pick up your love for professional wrestling? If you do, if you don't love professional wrestling, why not? What is it about professional wrestling that you don't like? What is it that that turns you off about it? And I'd love to have that conversation. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you next time whenever we get to talk about Christmas Star Wars 1982, where we dive into the lead up and what was going on, and the repercussions or what happened from that show at Reunion Arena, and the results and the feuds that came out of that. And so anyway, look forward to seeing you, and like I said, drop me a line, let me know what you think, and if I can anything where I can bring up or I forget, or maybe I even got it wrong. I could very well get some of this wrong because a lot of it I'm going off of memory. But just let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in, and from Fourth and Beer, get you a cold one, enjoy it, and we'll see you then.